Neighboring Canada now, more than 750 unmarked graves have been found near a former Catholic boarding school for indigenous children in Canada's Saskatchewan province. The shocking discovery comes for the second time in a month. A few days ago, the remains of 215 children were found at a residential school in British Columbia. The new unmarked graves have been found at a former Catholic residential school. Kawas's First Nation chief has said that it is not clear how many remains belong to children.
As of yesterday, we have hit 751 unmarked graves. This is not a mass grave site. These are unmarked graves. Over the past years, the oral stories of our elders, of our survivors, and friends of our survivors have told us stories that knew these burials were here. In 1960, there may have been marks on these graves. The Catholic Church representatives removed these headstones.
The expert explained that the site is being treated like a crime scene. Removing headstones is a crime in Canada. Canada's Truth and Reconciliation Commission said in a report that a cemetery was left on the Marival site after the school building was demolished. Kawas's First Nation is in touch with the local Catholic archdiocese to identify the remains. Authorities will be assessing each plot in the coming weeks to determine the number of victims buried at the site. Delrom has said that the exact number of victims will not be known for weeks. Graves may contain more than one set of remains. The revelation once again puts spotlight on a dark chapter of Canada's history. It has opened old wounds about the lack of information and accountability about the residential school system. It operated between 1831 and 1996. 150,000 indigenous children were forcibly separated from their families. They were also isolated from their culture and languages. Schools were mostly Catholic and run on behalf of the federal government. Children were subjected to malnutrition, physical and sexual abuse. In early June, Pope Francis said that he was pained by the Kamloops revelation. He called for respect of the rights and cultures of Native people. However, he stopped short of the direct apology that some Canadians have demanded. The new revelation has revived calls on the Pope and the Church to apologize for the abuse suffered at the schools. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau called the findings at both Kamloops and Marival a shameful reminder of the systematic racism, discrimination and injustice that Indigenous people have faced.
Positions that people can rely on to provide for their families.